And there's a lady who's staring behind you. If you look behind you, she's looking our way. But now she's looking away.
Yeah, look away.
She's pretending not to.
Look away.
Now she's telling the other guy, I think they're filming a video. Do you see it? Look, take a look.
Look,
now they're both looking, and they think that we don't know that they know that we know, but we know that they know.
They don't know that we know that they know we know.
And look, you're on candy camera, motherfucker! Babe, what are we doing?
We're going to see Jumanji.
Yay!
On the next level.
Is that what it's called? The next level? I was calling it the Jumanjis. We're seeing the Jumanjis. I mean, we were kind of debating between like that, a Black Santa, which got a bad review.
Christmas.
I'm sorry, Black Christmas.
What's wrong with you? Black Christmas.
Black Christmas, Black Santa.
You really
Black
want
Santa's
Santa to be black.
it's a whole different movie, isn't it?
Son of a bitch.
What would you give it like as a prediction?
I'm going 7.
You like your sevens.
I don't know. I don't really want to give it a 6. That sounds mean. I'm trying not to be too harsh. I got in my car and am driving to the movie theater. So it's getting a 7. If
Okay.
it's not a 7, then I'm not driving to the movie theater.
I'm gonna give it a 5, head to.
Why?
I don't know.
Serious?
I'm gonna give it a 5 just so that when I come in I can give it a 6.
Score.
Oh, did I tell you I talked to Dave?
No.
He said he watched the Fanatic, the John Travolta movie.
What did he think?
He said it was funny. He was like, yeah, I don't understand. He's like, it gets really real. It gets real. It's kind of like it's more of a drama type of. And I was trying to explain it to him. I'm like, well, I think it was meant to be a serious movie. It wasn't meant to be like a satire or anything. It's funny in the sense that it's so bad, and it wasn't meant to be. And it's directed by Limp Bizkit, so Fred Durst.
You okay with some music? You like a little Limp Bizkit? You like a little biscuit? I used to listen to this back in the day. This is hot.
But Dave, if you're watching, I'm glad you enjoyed The Fanatic. I still kind of refuse to watch it. Hi, Dave. You can find that video right down here. I went to Boston just a few days ago. It was on Tuesday. I went to Boston, and I picked up Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Big Hero 6. I mean, we did some Blu-ray shopping, Blu-ray hunting. Or as you like to call it, shopping.
I just called it shopping.
We saw Dave Attell yesterday at the Stress Factory.
So many Daves. It's a little time.
We saw Dave Attell from Comedy Central's Insomniac with Dave Attell, which I don't know if a lot of people know that show. Do you know that show? I did ask Dave Attell a question. I was like, would you ever do another episode or like a special of Insomniac? And he's like, I'm too old. I guess he was probably like in his 30s or 40s. And now he's probably like in his like 50s or 60s or something like that. And he's just, I totally get it. But he was really funny. I would go check him out on Bumping Mics with Jeff Ross.
Dave, you look like you shop at AutoZone.
Thanks. Jeff looks like he runs the gift shop at a planetarium.
You're in great shape. You probably don't even work out.
I used to work out, but I hurt my back carrying the show. And then...
And now we are at the theater to see Jumanji's The Next Level with The Rock and Danny DeVito. What was your prediction again? You're gonna go 7? I'm gonna go 5. All right, we'll be right back. All right, so we're back, and we just saw Jumanji. And you had a 7 prediction, and I had a 5 prediction. Where do you land now?
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Really?
I really liked it. I would totally like put it on TV and just laugh at all the giggles.
I'm willing to eat my hat and admit I'm wrong. I'm gonna give it an 8 because I really enjoyed it.
I was so scared it was gonna be one of those where like the best jokes were in the trailer.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
And it's a sequel, which is always
Yeah.
leaves you kind of hesitant, I guess.
Like,
Danny
I thought
DeVito made this
him
movie.
And Danny Glover were fantastic.
Yeah, the acting was decent.
I really thought,
You thought Nick Jonas was gonna fuck up your movie. He was actually all right.
I apologize.
Just like last time, it's like
I just want to take it back. I'm sorry.
he's
that
staying in
I
his
jumped
lane,
the
and it's
gun
fine.
And insulted Nick Jonas.
I would argue that this movie is better than the original one. People might say that, well, you know, it's not as original, but I guarantee you that if you swap these movies around and this one came out first, I think a lot of people would be like, this was the superior movie. It's funnier. It seems like they knew what works best and they stuck to it. It's one of the few sequels where I feel like they add in characters in this one, which would be Danny DeVito and Danny Glover. I feel like them being added in actually made it better because Danny DeVito, I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I love Danny DeVito and that kind of humor, and they really played to that. It didn't feel like watered down, and they didn't try to make it like, well, let's make it different. It felt like Danny DeVito, which I like. I really like seeing The Rock and Kevin Hart play like old people, and they're making a lot of grandpa jokes and like nursing home jokes. It was a lot of fun. I think this is our Indiana Jones for our generation. Think about it. It has adventure, people doing unrealistic jumps and swings and all this stuff. You're in like these exotic locations that feel kind of reminiscent of Indiana Jones. It's an adventure film. We don't have adventure films anymore, especially like a franchise like that. Granted, and this might be like The Rock's best franchise that he's been a part of. Like, I know he's got those Fast and Furious movies, and those are fine, but these are so much more fun. And like the fact that you're in a video game is kind of like The Matrix, where it's like you're okay with things being over the top and crazy, and like when you watch those car movies, the Fast and Furious, you're like, this would never happen. But when you're in a video game, it's just funny, you just go with it, I guess. They could do a little bit of like Looney Tunes stuff with like people kind of getting killed and coming back, and just like the first movie, but it's still fun. I just like it. I'm glad it wasn't like they go in and he eats cake again, it's the same jokes. They did keep it fresh, so I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I would recommend it. All right, so we're going to go into spoilers now. All right, so I just want to get right into the end credits scene. There's a scene at the very, very end. They win. Everything works out. And the last credit scene is
Winston, a new girl. Yes, he comes to repair the heater in the house.
Right, and I guess him and the mother probably get sucked into Jumanji again, but the difference is that I think what they're doing in this one is that it's going to be like the Robin Williams one. I think Jumanji is coming to us because the ostriches come down the street and they come outside, and I get the feeling like, well, now they don't have like their superpowers. And I think the third one, if they do it, is going to be just like the one that we had when we were kids. And I'm really excited for that.
I guess it would be a bit of a twist since they've beaten that drum twice.
Right.
So I get why they would want to lean in a bit of a different direction. So it's a bold choice, Cotton.
What would you guys want to see? Would you want to see inside or outside Jumanji, or should we just stop?
I would be happy if this was the last movie.
Right. I really enjoyed how they kind of kept switching the bodies around a little bit. That was a lot of fun with the passion fruit or the Jumanji tree fruit thingy. Is there anything you didn't like about the movie?
I was a little bit worried when they all changed bodies and Milo became the horse, and I was like, I'm really gonna miss him. He's so funny.
Well, when they had the scene where Danny DeVito and I guess Milo, right? Danny Glover?
Yeah.
When he tells him, like, how much time you got, that was really well done. I was getting a little choked up. I'm not afraid to say it. Like, when they had those moments, and then the end, and it's so, like, kind of predictable, and we've seen this, but in the way they did it, it was well done, so I was getting a little choked up in the end.
I really thought they tied everything together well.
I think Danny DeVito doesn't get enough credit for being a decent actor, because when he wants to kind of do drama, he can easily just go into it, and it works. I knew whenever you hear like, well, I don't got much time left, that's always a cue for like, you guys go, I'll hold him off, right? It's always kind of the...
That's usually how it works.
But I thought it was nice that he turned into a flying unicorn horse thingy.
Well, when Nick Jonas saves them and he like taps him to see what his strengths and weaknesses are, he's just like, whoa. But they don't show you because that's the point of learning it later.
That scene bothered me. I mean, it's a very tiny nitpick, but I felt like Nick Jonas lost too many lives.
I really, after
doing that,
he died the first time and he went in, he kind of got down and I thought he was going to crawl. And I was like, well, duh, because the darts are up high.
Right.
So I was really kind of annoyed. I was like, why are you still walking? Crawl, you bastard, crawl.
Yeah. I did like the rocket launcher when they all died together.
That was funny.
And Danny DeVito's like, wah!
That was perfect.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching The Rock play Danny DeVito. I feel like some people would try to make an argument of like, oh, this is ageist, or... whenever somebody does an impression in any way, somebody gets butthurt and offended. Yeah. But I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I think they played into it just enough.
And Kevin Hart was decent, doing like an old man. Like he played Danny Glover to the T of because he used more words like older people do.
Like
he put like 5 extra adjectives into everything. And
he was right. I killed him by talking too slow, just like he said I would. It was so great. And even the action, like I even enjoyed like the action of like the set pieces, like the bridge scene was pretty good. Yes.
It was just I don't know. It had every right to be awful and just a cash grab, and I felt like they actually put the effort in, and it wasn't. And I'm not easily amused by certain movies, and it got me. So I will admit, 8 out of 10. Go see Jumanji.
Go see it.
We also got me and Dave did a Blu-ray trip last Tuesday. Check that out down below. I've been John. This has been Cassie. You've been burned. We will see you next time. Boop, boop.
So, I like the cast. I actually secretly think the redhead is hot. What's different string?
I unsecretly think the redhead is hot.
Secretly. Saying. I could watch her for a while.
She's Nebula.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye. We'll be
Next
back.
level.